Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com.
Okay, so I've got to go ahead that we can start. All right. So again, a formal good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Let me introduce myself before we start the discussion. My name is Amit Kumar, and I have around 16 years of industry experience. And right now I work as a principal architect in my current organization. Okay. And I've been giving trainings for a long time now, maybe around 6 years. So I've been associated with many institutes, very well known one, online ones mostly. So I do give trainings like this where individual participants join the sessions. I also do corporate trainings where I go and teach in organizations, also educational training. So I go to institutes and teach them. Obviously, in the past 1 year, it has been on online, but yeah. So I do have experience on entire DevOps ecosystem. So starting from your planning all the way up to your continuous deployment, right? And then monitoring, right? So version control systems, CI, continuous testing, continuous deployment, continuous delivery, and then continuous monitoring, right? So everything have, I would like to say that I have a good experience there, right? So today we are here to talk about SonarQube, right? And I hope that you guys are already aware of the CI and CD pipeline since you are already a little bit already into learning of DevOps. So I understand that you already know what is a version control system. Maybe you already have some experience with Git. You already know what is CI and CD and things like that. So what I'm going to talk about today is a specific part in CI, which is called as static code analysis. Okay. So today we are going to talk about what is static code analysis, right? Why is it important? And when do we do it? Okay. And then majority of the discussion was how do we do it with SonarQube? So this is what I'm going to talk about today. It's supposed to be a 3-hour session, right? So let's see how much we can complete in the 3 hours. Okay. Now, in the beginning of the session, I would like to ask here, how many of you have access to any kind of labs? Maybe you have your AWS instances, or maybe you have your virtual machines created on your laptop or something. Do you have any access to any labs, any lab environment?
Are you talking about any particular service of AWS? I mean, like EC2 instance or like anything?
Yeah, yeah. So wherever you can install software and you can run interact with the compute. So either EC2 instances or Google Cloud virtual machines, or whatever. Hmm? Okay, so if you have, then we can do some hands-on. Okay, we can have bit of a time to also practice, and you guys can give me your inputs. How is it working for you? Another question: Have you guys heard about or learned about Docker already? So you have had your Docker session. Great. This is good news. This is good news. All right. So with this setup, we will understand what is SonarQube. I will use Docker to execute SonarQube and to install SonarQube, and then we will work together in exploring SonarQube and working with it. All right. Okay. So let's explore on our CI pipeline. When we talk about CI pipeline, the first thing that we talk about is your version control system, right? So you have your version control system, for example, Git, where all the developers contribute their code changes, right? When anyone makes a commit to Git, it triggers a CI pipeline, right? CI or CD pipeline. Now, what happens in that CI or CD pipeline? Many things happen. So, for example, let me just use pen here. You can have your compilation done. So, as soon as someone makes a commit, the source code is compiled to validate the sanity of the changes. Then you can perform a static code analysis. Static code analysis. You can perform your unit tests, right? You can also perform maybe some other kind of tests or some other kind of checks. Maybe you want to do code coverage, right? This is all done on the newly integrated commit.
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
On Git, right? So I'm not sure how much you have learned about the entire pipeline, but these are the specific steps that you can take when you are doing your doing your DevOps pipeline, right? Now today I'm going to talk about static code analysis, how we do static code analysis and what is the use case of that. Okay, so static code analysis, or let's call it SCA from now on. So SCA will check your source code for any problems. Okay, it checks the source code for any problems without executing your program or your application. That means within the source code, the static code analysis tool, whatever you use, it will go inside your source code and perform all the checks. Okay, if you execute a program and then perform your application check, that's called testing, right? You execute your program, then you get your UI or whatever interface, and then you perform tests. You give inputs, you check outputs. You give inputs, you check outputs. That's called testing. Even before doing that, you would like to check your code itself. So what you can check code for example, are there any syntactical mistake, syntax problems, right? Are there any, for example, illegal code operations, right? For example, division by 0, or if you are creating a variable but not using it, right? Which can lead to memory leaks or high footprint of your program, right? So you can check those. You can also check your security, right? You can check your security. So all these checks you can perform on your source code by performing static code analysis. Okay, and it becomes very important to check your source code so that at very early stage, as soon as somebody makes a commit, at a very early stage you can identify if somebody is introducing any problems with the code, right? You can also define your own set of rules you can define your rules which should be followed in your coding in your development team, and you can enforce those rules by defining those rules in your static code analysis tool, and then the tool can immediately whenever a code is changed, the tool can, based on the rules that you define, it can check the code and give you an output. Okay, so that's what static code analysis is all about. The basic use case of static code analysis is to understand the quality of your code, how well the engineers are writing the code. Are there any problems with the code? Only code, not with the application behavior, right? Not to see if the application is working properly or if all the features are working properly. That's not the scope of static code analysis. The scope is only to check the quality of your code, how well the code is written. Okay, so you can enforce that using a static code analysis tool, for example SonarQube, and then we will see in detail what you can do or how you can do. All right, Akash, you have a question?
Yes, Amit. So, is this any specific to the language like Java, Python, C Sharp? Like, is it any language specific tool? I mean,
So we have not talked about any tool yet. I'm talking about the concept, static code analysis,
yeah,
and that
okay.
can be done on any language. Okay, it can work on any language. So you have to perform static code analysis on any language, wherever you write your code. You C or C Sharp or Python or Perl or Golang, whatever you use, you should perform static code analysis on top of that. Okay, we will come to tools later. We will come to SonarQube later. First, let me just set why we are using and what is static code analysis. Okay, so you want to check the quality of the code, but why? Why would you like to check the quality of the code? What will you do if the quality is good or the quality is bad? Why would you like to check the code? First thing that you would like to check is if there are any bugs. If there are any bugs introduced in the code, right? Not in the application, in the code. Second thing that you want to do is check the maintainability. Right? What does that mean? That means somebody is writing the application, they are writing code, and they're making the application work fine. But later, if somebody else also joins the team and they want to also contribute this application, but if the code is not written properly, then it will take a lot of time for the new person to understand how the code is written, right? Also, if somebody else has to maintain the code, let's say your application development is done and then somebody else, some other team has to maintain the code, then they will have a lot of problems if the code is not written properly, right? So you have to ensure that the code is maintainable. Somebody can understand the code and do enhancements on top of it or do bug fixes on top of it. So we should understand maintainability. Third is security. So when you write your application code, you can introduce a lot of security problems. Maybe you are storing passwords in plain text. Maybe you are writing your database queries in your PHP or in your Perl programs, but those queries can be used to exploit your application by, for example, SQL injection or any other kind of uh,
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
security loopholes, right? So you need to check the security of the code. And finally, combination of these is required by many organizations. For example, if you are writing a code which goes and sits in an aeroplane, right? It goes and sits in one part of the aeroplane. For example, you are writing a source code for an equipment which controls the landing gear of aeroplane, right? Now, it's a huge risk and it's a huge security concern that the landing gear does not malfunction, the landing gear is not exposed to any malicious code, and it functions always. Otherwise, a lot of lives are at stake, right? So, whenever you write some sensitive code or code which can have really high impact on people's lives or on high amount of money or assets, then you have to get some certifications done on your code, right? Your code should be certified by an organization that this code is fit to go into such an equipment, right? If Boeing or um, uh, Dornier or any other aircraft manufacturer are looking to integrate a landing gear in their aircraft, they will look for a certified product by any of these organizations, any of certification organizations. There are many ISO certifications and many other certifications which are designed for such a standard. So any equipment manufacturer will be looking for this certification. And then out of many requirements of the certification, one of them would be that you should have zero bugs or zero problems with the maintainability and zero issues with the security of the code, right? One of the requirements could be that. So you would like to write your code so that it can be certified by an authority, certifiable. Okay, these are the reasons you do static code analysis. All right, now when you do static code analysis, what do you get as an output, and what is the behavior of the static code analysis tool? Well, first thing that you identify is the problems with the code quality, right? So code quality is identified. Second is you can also identify the maintainability. Now for maintainability, there are a lot of things, right? For example, do you have enough comments, right? Is your code very complex? Are there too many if else nested if else, or too much recursion, right? So that can be found. Then are there any serious bugs, right? And if you find all these, what do you implement? You implement a highly maintainable source code, right? And then you identify security issues, as I mentioned. And also you can, by using certain tools, you can ensure a collaboration in your team members so that each one can see if a new security issue is identified based on a new code commit, then each of them can see, okay, something is wrong and let's fix that. Okay, so you achieve all this by implementing static code analysis and implementing certain tools. And static code analysis is simple, right? So you have a static code analysis tool. Let's put it here, static code analysis tool. And then you input your source code because you want to analyze your source code. You also input your rules, right? You define what you want to check and you define what should be checked on that thing, right? Maybe you want to check if there are correct number of comments. Maybe you want to check if there is no divisibility by zero, or whatever rules you want to check on your source code. You specify the rules, you give it here, you specify the code which you want to check, you give it here, and the output is a report. And you take that report and do whatever you want to do with it, right? So in your CI cycle, if somebody makes a code commit and it goes to Git repository, then it is used to compile the project, and then static code analysis is done on that source code, right? If the static code analysis fails your standards, maybe it found some bugs or it found some issues with your code. If this fails, then it can fail the pipeline, complete pipeline, and give the report back to the developer. You can do this. And this is what generally teams do. Right? So this is the idea of static code analysis. You want to check your code quality, the maintainability, the security, and then finally you get a highly maintainable secure code which goes into the application. Okay. Questions. Now we will see how we implement it with SonarQube. So now we can take some questions before I talk about SonarQube. No questions? Okay, cool. So I will regularly open the floor for questions. I will not entertain questions during my explanation. So once I'm done with any topic, I generally open the floor for questions, and you can ask me all the questions that time. All right. So now let's talk about SonarQube. So SonarQube is a proprietary tool. It is not an open source tool. It is proprietary tool which is used to manage or check the quality of your source code. Okay, and it can identify lot of problems with your source code. It can identify a lot of problems with your source code. For example, it identifies bugs.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
It can identify bugs. It can identify some vulnerabilities. Right? It can also identify code smells. Okay, so what is bugs? Bugs are nothing but problems with your source code. Any problem. Maybe you are dividing by 0, or maybe you are assigning a variable but not using it. So any problem with the source code is called a bug here. Then it identifies your security vulnerabilities, right, where your source code may be impacted. Those are called as vulnerabilities. Then there are some maintainability issues, right? For example, you have your code complexity is very high, so it is difficult to maintain, or you are writing uh, too many variables and too many intervariable assignments, so maintenance becomes low, right? So you can identify all these things. Right now, for any team which writes a source code, you can specify a level of quality that you want to meet. For example, in your team, you can specify that my code should not have any bugs, so 0 bugs in my code. It can have maybe 100 code smells, right? I can live with code smells, but I don't want any bugs. And it's okay if I have 5 vulnerabilities at max. So you can define a criteria for being your source code of good quality, right? It's up to you, right? How good quality you want. If you're okay with 10 bugs in your code, you can specify that as well. But here, for example, I'm taking this. And this is called as a quality gate. We will learn about it all in detail. It's called as a quality gate in SonarQube, which specified the standard or the threshold of various values that determine the quality of your project. Okay, and this quality gate should meet the expectations before it can be released to production or before it passes the CI. Right? You can also use it to analyze your pull requests. Have you guys heard of pull requests?
Yes.
Okay, so you can also analyze your pull requests, so that any request that comes for merging to your production branch or your highly active development branch can also be checked for code quality. So before the merge happens in the code review, you can see the quality of the code. Right? It also provides you, for example, what are the criteria that you want to check in your code, right? For example, you want to check these many rules: division by zero, sufficient number of comments, not more than 2 nested if else conditions, whatever. So you can define what rules you want to check on your source code. Based on those rules, these identification will be done, right? Your SonarQube will say, okay, based on these rules, I found 10 bugs and 5 code smells and things like that. So the rules are one of the inputs. So you can specify rules also, right? Whenever an issue is found in SonarQube, let's say one bug is found, then you can go there and dig into it and see more details about why the bug was found, why is it reported as a bug, and what we can do to solve that bug. All right. And it also have multi-language support. Okay, SonarQube can work for many languages. It can work for many languages. All right. So, for example, when we talk about SonarQube, we actually have these flavors. When we talk about SonarQube, we have a community edition, which is not open source, but it is free. So you can use this for free. It supports these many languages: Java, JavaScript, C#, TypeScripts, Kotlin, Ruby, Go, Scala, Flex, Python, PHP, HTML, CSS, XML, and VB.NET. So these are the languages which are supported by the free version of SonarQube, which is called Community Edition. Okay, then there are other versions. I will talk about them also. So in the free version, you have capability to detect bugs and vulnerabilities. You can also have check security hotspot in your code for any security problems. You can track code smells and fix your technical debt. Now, technical debt is amount of work that you require to fix your code smells and the bugs. That's called technical debt. Okay, I'll not spend much time here. Then you can see the history of your code, how the quality has been evolving. You can also integrate this with CI/CD like your Jenkins and Bitbucket and things like that. And you can also install plugins and enhance the functionality of SonarQube. Okay, so if you have these requirements, you can definitely live with Community Edition. But then there is one more called Developer Edition. Now the Developer Edition provides everything that the Community Edition does, plus support for these languages. So C, C++, Objective-C, Swift, ABAP, TSQL, and PLSQL, right? Then it detects the injection vulnerabilities in Java, C#, and PHP. It can also enhance, or it can also have a multi-branch analysis, right? So you can track the quality of multiple branches in your Git repository. In Community Edition, only master branch can be tracked. In Developer Edition, you can check the code quality of any branch. You can also have integration with pull requests. Again, it's a Developer Edition feature. Then comes the Enterprise Edition, which has everything that the Community and the Developer Edition has. Plus, it has some enterprise features, for example, portfolio management and PDF executive reports. So you can combine multiple projects into one big portfolio and take a look at that. Okay, you can generate security reports, you can transfer projects from one instance to another instance, parallel processing, and more support for these languages. Okay, And you have data center edition, so you have, you can deploy it using containers in data center edition, multiple instances, redundancy, all that can be achieved here. So this is what SonarQube is all about. Okay, these are the various flavors of SonarQube. Now to use developer or enterprise edition, we need license. So unfortunately, we cannot use all of those, but we also have something called Sonar Cloud. Now, Sonar Cloud is a community cloud-based hosting of SonarQube. So if you don't want to install SonarQube on your system and you are okay to expose your code to public, then you can use Sonar Cloud for free, or you can pay Sonar Cloud to have some privacy features like the source code which should not be visible to others and things like that. Okay, so we will see a little bit of Sonar Cloud, and mostly we will see the community edition. All right, any questions?
So Amit, I have a question on how can I relate the term quality gate and the rules?
Oh, that is when we see about SonarQube in detail.
Okay.
Right now we are going into SonarQube, but
Okay.
whatever we have discussed, do we have any questions on that?
Not so far.
All right, okay, so let's then open SonarQube. Right, SonarQube lives on sonarcube.org. So if you want to install SonarQube, you can download SonarQube from there. You can download enterprise edition or developer edition, anything, but to use them you have to input the licenses. So yeah, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a virtual machine on my cloud instance to demonstrate how SonarQube works.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.